Here we go. First of all, let's talk about toners. First of all, they must be deposit only, and they cannot contain ethanolamine, which is another word for MEA. And the reason that they cannot contain ethanolamine is because it's the ingredient that is the substitute for ammonia in permanent color, which means that even if they use a smaller amount, it still gives you some slight lightening action. And that's the problem with toners that have ethanolamine in them. They give you a lightening action, and they tend to fade very rapidly. Now, also, look at the next sentence that I have written here. Process with 10 volume developer and no lower. And the reason is that when you mix 10 volume developer with color, then the 10 volume is diluted because it's in the color, and it becomes 5 volume developer. So you generally don't use anything less than 5. I do know that people tend to use 7, but that means it dilutes down to 3.5. I just think you should use 10. And next, do not use permanent color with low volume developer. And the reason is multiple, because number one, low volume developer has, permanent color has a higher pH than a deposit only color or toners. It has a pH of around 10 to 10.5, whereas toners generally have a pH of around 8 or less. So you're swelling the cuticle too much, and even though you're using low developer, you still get lightening action. And then you'll notice that I said you process anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. And there's a reason for this, and I'm going to show you in the next slide. Look at this. This is a 8N, and this is a liquid 8N, and this is it processed for 10 minutes. This is it processed for 20 minutes, and this is it processed for 30 minutes. Now, you can process a toner up to 30 minutes, and it will still, it will give you more deposit. It doesn't give you a darker color than what it says, but if you only go for 10 minutes, then it gives you a lighter version of what you want. So be careful about the timing when it comes to toners. Okay, now next, do not use, now this is very interesting because this is a topic of contention between a lot of people. I say do not use any sort of an intense conditioner after bleaching. Use a leave-in product. And the reason that I say that is because intense conditioners tend to have too much product that leaves a coating on the hair and blocks color from getting in. Leave-in products tend to be, you spray it on the hair, you towel dry the hair afterwards, and then you put your product on and it can seep into the hair. Toners are applied to towel dry hair, not wet hair and not dry hair. The reason that they go on towel dried hair is because the minor amount of moisture that's left in the hair gives you a better, quicker uptake of color, and it also works as an equalizer so that your toner takes more evenly in the hair. Now remember that toners are always levels 8, 9, and 10, but refreshers can be any level. And the reason that toners are always 8, 9, and 10 is because when you go to something darker than a level 8, when you get to a level 6 or a level 5 or a level 4, then you're working with color refreshers, not with toners. Okay? Now, This is why not everyone can be platinum or silver or even the lightest toned colors. And the reason is because look at these two pieces of hair. They both started out as darkest brown, not quite black, but darkest brown. And the one on the left is from India, whereas the one on the right is from Europe. And look at how they lightened differently. The one on the left has much more color in it, and the one on the right is almost completely void of any yellow in the hair. The one on the left, remember that even though all the color has been removed from the hair, the protein of the hair is a darker yellow color because most likely that person had a darker skin tone. So remember, when you look at people with dark skin tone, they tend to have more yellow in their hair and therefore cannot necessarily be platinum or silver or the lightest colors, the lightest toning colors that you can think of. Okay? Now, here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to show you silver, platinum, white, neutral gold, beige, tobacco, strawberry, fantasy colors. And then I'm going to talk just for a minute about auburn, brunettes, and blacks, which are refreshers, not toners. Okay? So let me start with am I going too fast for y'all? You know, I tend to speak quickly, and I have to be careful about that. Somebody tell me if I'm talking too fast. Well, nobody's responding. Okay. Here, the only difference between silver and platinum is they're the same color. The only, except that silver is a darker version, platinum is a lighter version. That's all. And white, thank you, Mary Bush, for at 1:13. What time is it now? I don't even know. Who knows? Oh, this was when you were responding to what I was asking about before. Okay, platinum and white. And notice that what I've done with white is I've mixed together demi-clear. Now it can be either liquid or it can be tube color. And what I did was I put 12 grams of Demi 10 blue violet in it. Now, blue violet is the basis for silvers and platinums and white color. It just depends upon how much it's diluted when you use it on the hair. Okay? Any questions so far? Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some gray toners. Now, this first one on the left is liquid 8 ash. And what I've done here was I took liquid 8 ash, and in this second number 2, I diluted it with 15 grams of clear. And you can see that even though it was darker, it's still the same color. But now when I diluted even more liquid 8 ash and put 30 grams of clear in it, you can see it's almost become a silvery color. Got it? And now everything was processed with 10 volume developer, and it was processed for 20 minutes. Everything in this whole presentation is processed with 10 volume and 20 minutes. The only exception is the swatch that I showed you earlier with the India and the European hair. Okay. Now this one, and what I'm doing here is this is liquid 10 ash, and you can see it's so much lighter. Now, but look here, when you look at 10 ash with clear, and you look at, even though it's almost invisible, 10 ash with 30 grams of clear, notice that something interesting about these. You're seeing more of the yellowish coming through on the hair, so that what you're not necessarily, unless you have the very, very palest of hair and the lightest of skin, 10 is not always your best choice. Sometimes it's better to use an diluted 8 than it is to use a 10. Okay? Here what I've done is I've only done 2 swatches here, but this is liquid 8N, and then this is liquid 8N that's mixed with 30 parts of clear. And you can see what's happened here. Once again, it was processed with 10 volume developer for 20 minutes, both of them were, but you can see how much lighter this color is than the original 8N. This one shows you liquid 10N. Now notice that it's a very, very light color, but here it is processed with 30 parts of clear, which means it has almost 0 color in it. Very, very little color. And it was processed with, once again, with for 20 minutes with 10 volume developer. And so now what you see is you see more of the actual lightened hair than you do of the any tone in it. And it's because there's so little color in a liquid, in a 10 anything, that when you dilute it with clear, it becomes almost invisible. Sharon asked, is the cream colored deposit only the same pH as liquid deposit? Yes, it is. They're both around an 8.0. So here what I've done is on swatch number 7 is liquid 8 gold. And here it is diluted, and here it is diluted a lot. And these two look almost the same, but they're not, because unfortunately, when I photograph them under extremely bright light, and they were different in for real. This is probably a full level lighter than this one here. Whoops, excuse me. What did I do? What just happened? Let me go back. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Back to where I was. This is liquid 8G, and this is diluted with 30 grams of clear. So it's this color plus clear, and it gives you, even though it's a very soft, it's still a golden shade, but remember, the hair itself was gold to begin with. So what I've done is, even though I diluted it, it shows a lot of gold still in the processing. Here, what I've done is I've created 4 different shades. This first one, number 2025, is 45 grams of liquid 8G, 8 gold, with 15 grams of 8 ash. So I mixed gold and ash. Now, it's not a true tobacco like you see when, excuse me, it's not a beige like you normally see beige, because liquid toners 8 ash is a gray color. It's not a simple blue violet like deposit only colors are. So therefore, it's more of just I don't know how you would describe it, a cool gold color. Number 26 has neutral added to it. Now notice that even though it has neutral to it, do you see how this is a little bit darker than this one? But also what you see is it's not as golden, excuse me, this, how do I say this? it has more gold in it than the ash one does, right? In this one, in 32, what I mixed was liquid 8N, and I mixed only 5 parts of gold of 15 grams of 8G with it. And you can see what's happened here. This is a much more neutral color than this one, which is a gold with neutral added. This is neutral with gold added. And you can see just by looking at it that it is what it is. And this last one is, I put a little bit of red into this one. So this is the 45 grams of liquid 8G, but this time I added 15 grams of 8RO. And it's a warm shade, much warmer than the other three, but it doesn't show a lot of strawberry. Why? Because they're liquid toners, and you need to use deposit only color or permanent color to be able to see, and the 15 grams that you add to the either 8G or the 8G permanent color would be a level 6 to give you much more strawberry appearance. Remember that if you're going to make a tobacco refresher, it should be deposit only. And I want to talk about refreshers a little bit later on when you don't always use the same formula as you normally do. Oh, thank you, Mary. Mary Brush says the 27 is very pretty. It is. It's kind of a nice color. Now here what I've done is look at the bottom, because this is the same formula that's at the bottom. It's just that I made it clearer, easier to read down here. So this first swatch is a deposit only 8G with 16 grams of deposit only 8 blue violet. Now what happens when you mix blue violet and gold together? You get a very beige type color. But I added green to it to make it even cooler. So that's what you have here. Because normally if you put green, green with gold gives you beige, cool beige. BV with beige, with gold gives you warm beige. So here what I've done is I've combined them all. And the green adds a little bit of coolness, more coolness to it, but it's not really a cool beige color. It's just a beautiful beige shade. Now here, look at this one. I mixed a combination of liquid 8 ash with deposit only 4 blue violet. And I got this beautiful shade of I don't know what you would call it. It's once again, it's a type of beige color, but it's different than a regular beige color because I started out with 8 ash. Now remember that when you're going to add blue, or when you're going to add a deposit only color to a liquid ash, here's the way that you do it. First, you put the developer in the bottle because most of these toners want to be put on with out of an applicator bottle, not from a bowl and brush. So first you put the developer in, then you put the deposit only color in and shake it real hard until it all mixes up. Then add the liquid ash. Got it? Now here, look at this last one. Once again, it's 8 ash. So I've got 8 ash in these 2 shades here. But in this one, I added 60 grams of liquid 8 ash, 60 grams of 10 volume developer, but then I added 3 grams of liquid 1N. So here, this is the formula with only 20 grams of, but here I did a full formula of 60 grams. Got it? And that's how you get this very deep, cool A-dash color. And I'm going to show you 3 more. Now these, what I did, here I mixed together liquid 8-ash, and I added 22 grams of deposit only 8 blue violet. Now remember, I put the developer in first, then I added the 8 BV, shook it up real well, and then added the 8-ash, the liquid color. In this case, same thing. Only this time what I did was I used deposit only 8 blue BV, and I added 6 grams of liquid 8-ash. So this is much deeper color because this one started out with primarily a level 8, but it's a deposit only, and I added liquid ash to it. And you can look at the amount that I added to it. Here, look at this one. This one has only half as much of the 8 BV, but it has much more of the liquid 8-ash. Okay? And then this last one is I started out with liquid 8-ash, and then I added liquid 4-ash to it to give me this, once again, this beautiful, beautiful, almost dark blonde, between a medium and a dark blonde color. Here, now if you want the longest possible wearability from red or strawberry colors, make sure that your formula is either pure red, red orange, or red violet, but you can include clear in the formula. So if you're going to make a strawberry color, and you want it to be 3 parts of red orange and 1 part of gold, not neutral, because neutral causes a shift in red orange colors, and it makes them appear more violet-y in appearance, and it has to do with the way that the couplers are made with neutral, or it has to be made with the couplers used to making neutral. They make red color look very violet-y, reds and red oranges. So 3 parts of red orange, even if you're doing something as light as an 8, you use 3 parts of red orange, and you use 1 part of a deeper gold. So you would use a gold that is probably around a 6 or a 7, because the 3 parts of red orange dilute it down, and it becomes a level 8. Got it? I know it's a little confusing, but there's another whole bunch of Sharon said, can you explain again why 8-ash is softer? What are the differences between deposit only liquid 8-ash versus cream deposit only BV? Okay, this is a really good question, and I make them with different couplers, so that 8 BV deposit only is made with 1 coupler, and it looks blue violet, whereas 8-ash looks gray because it's made with a different coupler. Why was the neutral so dark? Let me go back and let me see if I can see. Let me first go back to Jamie and see what the neutral was so dark. Let me go back. Is this the one you were talking about? Jamie, because if this is the one you were talking about, it's because I put a 4, even though it was an 8 to begin with, I put a lot of level 4 in it. That's why it looks so dark. Liquid A- being more gray. Okay, once again, Tex, what I said was the reason that liquid A- is more gray in appearing is because I use a different coupler to put the liquid A- together than I do with the deposit only 8BV. And different couplers give you different color results. Perry said, your ratios are the same while the amount is smaller. Yes, what I've done up here is this is the same ratio as this is down here, as are the other two. And it's just that when I make the swatches, rather than make a full swatch, I make a smaller batch because I'm only making one swatch of color at a time. Okay, and Margarita said, "What can I explain neutral, not on red again?" Okay, if you go back, Margarita, and you look at the webinars that I did previously, and go to YouTube and go to the Tom Dispenza channel on YouTube, and there are 52 or 53 videos up there. And some of them show the actual difference between mixing neutral with red and gold with red. When you mix neutral with red-orange color, the neutral is created with a coupler that changes red-orange to more of a violet in appearance. That's why you use gold, not neutral, with red-orange colors. Okay, Jade said it was before this one. Okay, let me go back to another one. Now this one, maybe it was this one. Jade, let me see if there's another one. No, so let's go back. Possibly it's this one where I put a small amount of one which is black color into it. 8A plus 4A equals 6A. Yes, it does. Jade wrote a formula, 8A plus 4A equals 6A. It does in equal parts, yes. I missed the difference with the deposit color and the liquid color. The difference between deposit only color and liquid color is that when you make liquid color with no ethanolamine in it, you have to use much higher dye loads. But liquid colors are much more difficult to stabilize than tube color is, so cream color is. And the most easily destructed dye, or the most easily the easiest dyes that are destroyed in processing are the red orange dyes. They're very difficult to keep stable. And when I make deposit only color, I have no issue with stability, but I have a lot more stability issues with liquid color. So consequently, I have to make it with a higher dye load, but because there's no ethanolamine in it. When you have ethanolamine in a hair color, you can use much less dye. I don't know if that's one of the reasons that people do it with toners and with deposit only colors, but you get to make more money because it's cheaper to make your colors that way. I choose not to use it because I want true deposit only colors. How does 8 ash plus 4 ash equal 6 ash? Surely the darker color is, what happens, Thomas asked this question. How does 8 ash plus 4 ash equal 6 ash? Surely the darker color is dominant. That would be true if you did not have calibrated level systems. And go back, Thomas, go back and look at previous webinars that are up on YouTube. And I don't know which one it's in. Perhaps somebody else could help with the information about when I showed the amount of dye in each color. And even though it was a generalization, it's pretty close to accurate. And it's not until you get up to level 2 and to level 2 in black color that the dyes are grossly out of proportion. At lower numbers, they're much closer in mixing ratios, and consequently, when you do is you do get a slightly deeper version of the color, but it is still a 6, but a darker version of a 6, meaning it's more opaque, more like a European 6 than it would be with an American 6, which tend to be more translucent. Margarita, yes, you can look at this as many times as you want because it'll be posted on YouTube that you can look up anytime that you want. Let me see, where was I? Whoops, let me go here. All right, now, here what I've done was I took liquid 8 ash and I mixed it with equal parts of clear. And so you can clearly see that it's still a strawberry color, but it's much, much light looking because now it's become a 10RO. Remember that for every 15 grams of clear that you add to a color formula, it becomes one level lighter. And in this case, because I've added equal parts of 8RO, liquid 8RO, and clear, it becomes 2 levels lighter. So you can see that it definitely is a 10RO. Here, what I've done, I forgot to do the liquid 10RO. I just forgot to take a picture of it. My problem. But here what I've done was I took a 10RO and I diluted it with 30 parts of clear. Okay. Let me go back now to here. What I've done is I've made bubble gum, which is equal parts of clear and red concentrate. Here I've made a lilac color, which is clear with 50 grams of clear with just 5 grams each of 4 blue violet and 4 red violet. Remember, if it has to be, lilacs are in fact very light violet colors, but you want a BV because you want it, you want it to have more of a lilac. That's what it is. Here, what I've done is I've made an electric strawberry color by mixing equal parts of deposit only 6 blue violet and deposit only 6 red orange. Now, these obviously have to be done with either a brush and bowl, or you can put them on with an applicator bottle, but it has to be with a wide nozzle applicator bottle. And here, what I've done is I made a ruby red, and the way that I made this was I took red concentrate and clear, but then I added 8 grams of 2RO, which is level 2 red orange. And I believe, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who gives you a level 2 red orange. For some reason, most people don't. I don't know why, because it's a great color. All right, and let me go one more. Here, what I've done was I took 60 grams of clear, and then I put 6 grams of blue concentrate in it, and I diluted it down a tremendous amount to give me this almost well, I call it a fantasy color, but you can call it blue bubblegum for all I know. Works fine with me. Let me see, where am I now? Let me go one more color here. Now let me talk about auburn, brunette, and black. Now, once you reach level 4 or darker, in other words, once you reach a light blonde color, probably even a dark blonde, let's say level 6 instead of which is a dark blonde for almost all colors in the color world. The colors become more refresher, not toners. Remember, level 8 and lighter can be toners or refreshers depending upon the hair. If the hair is bleached, it's a toner. If the hair is not bleached, then it's a color refresher. Simple as that. And change this to a 6 over here instead of 6 or darker. Okay, one more thing. Now, here's black color. First of all, black color should never be pulled through. They should always be refreshed. Black color should only be refreshed with deposit only or liquid shades. Now, 1N, even though it's in a brown tube with chromatics, it is a deposit only color. It does not contain ammonia. You don't want lightning action. You want only deposit only, but deposit only gives you 100% coverage of black color with either 10 or 20 volume. You use the 20 if the hair is a more coarse. If it's more Indian or South American, then you use the 20 volume developer. If you're going to put a concentrate in black, in other words, you want to make blue black or blue green or green, then you do not add extra developer for the concentrate. You want a full strength black, but you want the extra tone added to it. Now, what I learned from working with ceramics is that the Chinese discovered that if you put black and you put a green glaze on top of black color, you get a shinier, a more reflective black color. But I know that for some reason, remember the old Clairol 51 and 52? One used to be a neutral color. 51 was neutral and 52 was blue black. And for those of you that like blue black, just simply add about 7 or 8 grams of blue to your chromatics 1N or liquid 1N, and you end up with a blue-black color. But remember, do not pull black color through if you're working with any color that is using either ethanolamine, MEA, or is not or is a permanent color with ammonia. Don't pull black color through. Only pull through deposit only or liquid shades. Once again, we make a liquid shade specifically designed to refresh black color. It's available to anyone. Now, let me see. Oh, okay. Here, what I've done is on the left, I've shown you full strength, neutral, gold, red, blue, and green. And here what I've done is I've diluted them down using 60 grams of clear and 4 grams, whoops, what happened? 4 grams of concentrate. Now, look here. What happens is when you put 4 grams of concentrate, and I tell you, and I make recommendations, I say use 2 grams in level 10, use 4 grams, up to 4 grams in level 8 color. And you can see that what you've created by putting 4 grams in is you have in fact created a level 8 color. So what you're doing by adding these to the by adding only 4 grams of concentrate to regular color formulas, this is what you're actually adding to it if it's a level 8 color. Now, notice that what I say in blue is that you only use 1/2 the amount of blue. And the reason that I say you only use 1/2 the amount of blue is because the blue color is so dominant that it takes over everything. So you got to be very, very careful when you use it. Also, what you see here is that I've added, here I mix together blue and green concentrates. So I mixed together green and blue, and I made blue-green, and that's what this is, blue-green concentrate. But notice how much lighter it is than the blue. And once again, it's because blue is so deep and so dark. Here, what I've done is I mixed together red and blue to create violet. But here, next to it, I showed you 2RV, which is a permanent color, and I diluted it with 60 grams of clear. So it shows you. Now, remember that level 2 colors don't contain very much, just a skosh of ammonia, hardly any at all. So consequently, when you put only 4 grams of concentrate into a color formula, what you're doing is you're adding, when you're using any small amount, whether it's 2 grams, 3 grams, 4, 5, 6, you're using almost no ammonia whatsoever. And that's why you can use 2RV and 2RO as concentrates. I didn't mix the 2RO. I don't know why. Once again, I just forgot. So here, let me see. Let me move up here. Mary Brush says, will you repeat why you don't pull black color through again? Okay, let me back up here to what I said here. Oh, why? Oh, this way. Here, black color. First of all, chromatics 1N, whether it's liquid 1N or permanent 1N, it does not contain ammonia. It only contains aminomethylpropanol, which is what you want to do for deposit, which is the alkalizer you want to use in deposit only colors. The reason that I say don't pull a regular 1N through the hair, you can do it with permanent chromastics one end because it does not contain ammonia. It contains aminomethylpropanol as the alkalizer. So you can pull that one through. But if you're using any other color line, do not pull color through the ends if the alkalizer is either ammonia or ethanolamine, also known as MEA. The reason is because ethanolamine and ammonia are both used to make permanent color that lightens the hair. And if you use those as refreshers, what you end up with is more damage to the hair, and the black color will eventually turn brassy. Oh, Sharon Rogers says 4 grams of 2RV diluted with clear is an amazing color for low lights and blondes. Oh, thank you, Sharon. I had never thought about that, but I'm going to just take your word on that. I'm going to assume that you don't process it for 20 or 30 minutes. I assume that you only process it for a short period of time. Okay, let me see. Let me go back where I was. Now here what I've done was I took concentrates. Now remember on this last chart, this is once again full strength, and then it's mixed with 45 grams of, with equal parts of clear. Now, even though here in this one, I mixed it with XL cream, you can mix it with any clear and you get the identical results because neutral concentrate is a deposit only color. But here what I've done is I've diluted it down using 45 grams of clear and only 15 grams of neutral concentrate. And here's what they look like. And on this one, it's 45 grams of clear and 15 grams of gold. This is the green, here's the red, and last but not least is the blue. Once again, 45 grams of blue, 45 grams of cream, clear, and 15 grams of blue. This just shows you. Now, let me back up one and show you what they look like. Remember here, this is with 4 grams of concentrate. Here's full strength, which you just saw on the other page. And here it is with diluted. And here, once again, diluted. And now, next, I'm going to do all super glaze formulas. Remember that a super glaze formula allows you to use a lighter blonde shade on any depth of salt or pepper hair, and you don't pull brassy. Whoops, you don't pull brassiness. I don't know what happened. So what I'm going to do on the next webinar, and it'll be up either tomorrow or the next day, you'll be able to sign up for it. It's all about super glaze. How to use the super glaze, how to make a super glaze, how the timing is slightly different depending upon the deposit and lightning that you want, whether you want a half a level lightning or a full level. And you'll be able to use blondes on medium to dark brunettes without pulling brassiness. That's all going to be on the next webinar. Once again, here's the book. If you're in the US, go to tomdispenza.com. If you're outside the US, go to amazon.com. It's the same price no matter where you go. And I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. Now, my newest book is going to be all color formulas with photos. So what I want you to do is, if you have a favorite formula, just send it to me don't do a picture, because I'll do the dye outs myself so that they're all consistent. But when I asked for contributions for the new book, but only Martin and Sharon have sent me info. So instead of including them in my new book, I'm going to produce a new book, a second new book called Colors by Chromastics Colorists. And I'm going to include many of the colorists that have submitted photos to Chromastics on Demand. I'll post all of this information later today or tomorrow on the Chromastics on Demand site. So if you have never been there, make sure that you go there. And remember, they're only the second book. Both of these books will have all Chromastics formulas. The first one is going to be all color formulas, and I'm going to show the die out, but it's going to be free to all Chromastics users, salons. And I'm going to send them to a bunch to our distributors. And for those of you that want to get it direct from me, the only thing you pay for is the actual shipping, the mailing, because it's a crazy amount of money. It's almost $5 to do mail out of books now, but that's the only thing you pay for. The book is free to all of you. Same thing for the Colors by Chromastics colorists. It'll be free to everyone, and the only thing is you'll have to pay for shipping, and that's it. Okay. Other than that, that's it for this webinar.